story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance, not the life I want to live. I want to take it all, standing tall, fear outweighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it in a sense, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless. There's a distance between us. It's getting hard to reach out. Haven't seen you in seasons, but all I hear is your voice. I know my limits. You can
Hi. Hello, everyone. Happy, I guess, if you want to say happy Monday. Happy Monday, I guess. Hello, everyone. Hi. Who do we got? Who do we got here? We got, okay. We got a lot to talk about, and I'm very irritated. So, we will get to that. All right, let's see here. We got Doug Day. Doug's first here. Hello, Doug, in your groove, as always. Hello, in your groove. Matt Guy. Hello, Matt Guy. Of course, my favorite Matt Guy, of course. Hello, Druzilla. Druzilla's here. Lionel. Hello, Lionel. You asked me, Lionel, if I was a social studies teacher. I was a social studies teacher. Is there a reason you're asking, Lionel? Were you a student of mine or something? Hello, SoCal. SoCal's here. Another classic. Uh, uh, okay. Louise. Hello, Louise. Okay. Hello. Who else we got here? Miro. It's good to see you here. I see you a lot over on Discord, but are you in the stream? I think you're in the stream sometimes. I think I've seen you in the stream sometimes. Druzilla, by the way, Druzilla, I've been in communication with Punk Apostate, and we're planning a dual stream at some point. So I gave him some dates and such. So pretty soon we will be doing a collaboration stream of Druzilla, just to let you know. Hello, Louise. Louise is here. Okay. AMA. Hello, AMA. DV8, hello, DV8. Yeah, Fox Emblem, hello, Fox Emblem. Yeah, Fox Emblem, of course. We should have expected the Democrats would cave. Which is why I'm going to complain today. I'm in a very sour mood because of that. It's also partially why I started early, because I needed to be able to rant about this. Okay, so thank you so much, SoCal. So SoCal just subscribed as a revolutionary, so I am going to put on the jester hat. As always, folks, if we get Lionel, did you send me a maybe I'm thinking of someone else, Lionel. I thought you may have sent me put a comment on one of my YouTube videos asking me what kind of teacher I am. I could be wrong though. Okay, so I will put on the jester hat. Matt Saigai, thank you for the super chat. Okay, thank you for the super chat. Matt Saigai having our first super chat. One more, folks, and we'll put on the collar. If we get to 5, oh, I got you, SoCal. Okay, so then the Matt Guys will count then. Okay, so we'll just say it's Matt Guy then. So we got 1, 2 more, and then we will do Jester Caller. Thank you, Matt Guy. Okay, so folks, hello everyone. By the way, pretty awful. Well, are we really surprised? I'm not terribly surprised. By the way, I have a new lighting setup. It's supposed to be making things brighter. My face almost looks too bright right now. I'm still trying to work it out, but the background looks a little brighter. That's good, right? Maybe if I reduce the brightness just a tad. There we go. So it doesn't look like I'm blinding. So yeah, the Dems basically caved. I'm very annoyed, obviously, because come on, I'm not surprised, right? Haven't I always said that it's unlikely that they would stick with it? I was proud of them that they stuck with it for a while, but we all know that we can't have nice things. So the Dems caved. Now, thank you, Louise. Thank you. Okay. So I'm annoyed, obviously, and the several of the Dems that basically defected. There were 8 of them. Okay, 8 of them defected. They're all moderate Dems, of course. So Corpo Dems, basically the result of the Democratic Party's corruption. None of them are up for re-election, by the way, and 2 of them are retiring in a couple years. So none of them really care about what the people want or anything. This is exactly, SoCal. This is perfectly reflective of one, Exactly, deviate. Who did give them the money, right? This is perfectly reflective of multiple issues we have in this country. One, corruption, obviously. Two, the Senate, because 6 of them won't have to worry about being reelected for years, essentially. And then 2 of them are going to be retiring, so they won't affect them. Um, and Also, another issue here is the hello, Demosthenes. I got on early, so because I just needed to complain, and we'll talk about all the things going on. Of course they are Fox Emblem. Of course they're funded by the airline companies. Of course they are. And they're also funded by the health insurance companies. I mean, there's no. Yeah, I wonder why they did this. Okay. Um, okay. So another thing it's reflective of is just the weakness. Um, they just weakness, like the weakness of the Democratic Party and their inability to be competent politicians in any significant way. I mean, they were winning. Like by every metric, this was what they by not caving to the Republicans, they were winning. People of the United States sided with them. They were blaming Trump. It was all looking very, very um, it was all looking very, very good for the Democrats. Okay, it made Trump look like he was the bad guy. All the stats showed that. One of the reasons why Democrats did so well in those recent elections was because that everyone was blaming the Republicans. But of course, the Democrats love to grab a defeat out of the jaws of victory as normal. And if the Dem leader Schumer really cared about this to begin with, what he would do now is come out and demand that those senators resign or begin the process of or doing something like that to be like you were disloyal. But I doubt they will. I doubt they will. There are a few who are doing that. Like there are some progressives who are calling for Chuck Schumer to resign and stuff. You know. By the way, so what did they get? What did the Democrats get by bowing their heads like slugs? Yep, you're right, Alan. And now it's their fault that now they could it makes it appear as though it was their fault to begin with, right? Um. So, thank you, Deviate, for doing that. Okay. So here's the thing, right? What is this great? They claim to make a deal, right? So without going into too much here, the deal was that the Republicans promised, they pinky promised that in the future, in December, they would hold a vote. They would let the Democrats bring a bill to the floor and vote on it. A bill that would basically extend the Obamacare subsidies. Okay, so what they got out of it was nothing. Okay, they got a promise from the Republicans that they would allow the Democrats to do a vote that will probably not pass. And the Republicans are like, even if they do allow it, they're not going to let it pass anyway. So it's really nothing. Uh, so I mean, like I don't know what anyway. And they're acting. And you have to understand, folks. This is not incompetence. Yeah, first of all, they are incompetent. But it's also like they know, right? That they know that they're like that's a really bad idea. Sometimes I have trouble telling if they know that because they might just be stupid. Um, but like they know that they got nothing and they did it anyway, right? Okay. Um, all right. So I wanted to start a little bit early today. We have a lot to talk about. So I'm really annoyed, obviously. Of course, SoCal, of course. So I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. I was predicting they would eventually cave, but but still, it's still annoying when it happens. Um, and all right, I will say one good sign from all this is that there has already been a ton of backlash from the base about it. There are a lot of people very angry with the Democrats now. A lot of people very angry with them. Even like a lot of centrist corpo news anchors are like, what the hell are you doing? Like you were winning. Anyway, okay. So, what I want to do now bear with me. Early, mainly just so we could do a little bit of this. I need to vent a bit, and I'm gonna make you all suffer with me. The the Democrats in their infinite brilliance. Hello, Mithril. Yeah, yep. Yeah, there you go, Mithril. It's like land before time or whatever. In their infinite brilliance, they did a press conference yesterday. I think I think it was a few hours ago, where they explained why it was they were caving. And I have not listened to what they say, but remember, um, I've got a red-minded senator shake down to change his vote. Yeah. Yeah, amazing. So I will gladly share this with all of you. Okay, let us watch this. Let us see what they say, what lies come out of their mouths, because I'm in a mood to be uh annoyed. And just remember what is so infuriating. I'm already know what they're going to say. I already know it. We just care about the American people. We need bipartisanship. The Republicans are good people. They made an agreement with us. Hey, they promised to let us take it. Like, it's gonna be the most milquetoast, most annoying shit imaginable to listen to these people. I can promise you. I can promise you. And we'll see how long we can go through it. Let's see what they have to say about this horrific decision they made. Correct, Global. Although admittedly, Global, I suspect I'll just stay in the anger stage for a while, okay? All right. And again, folks, the Democrats that caved were 8 of them, all corpo Dems, all quote unquote moderate Dems, basically meaning the right wingers who are just in the pockets of corporations. All right.
That would be drafted by the
Oh,
Democrats concerning
1 second. Nope, there's no way, Mithril, unless they resign.
health care in the ACA.
Okay, let's see what
That is a
bullshit.
big step, because otherwise there's no way for the minority to get a bill onto the floor of the U.S. Senate. It has to be through the office of the majority leader. So that was a major step to get the majority leader to agree to make that commitment tonight on the Senate floor. So,
Guys, I'm sorry. I'm not ageist, okay? There's nothing wrong with being older, okay? You have to understand I'm a bit upset though. Why can't he keep his eyes open? Like, it's like the lights are too bright for him. Like, maybe he shouldn't be in public life if he can't, like, literally keep his eyes open in front of bright lights. Just a note there.
the sum is we are closer to the possibility of work on the ACA tax credits for the
Totally
people of
Fox
this
Emblem.
country than we were yesterday and than we were a week ago, 2 weeks ago, or a month ago. So
Of course, Fox Emblem.
this agreement tonight is a
My
is a
God,
win
they're
for the
so
American
boring.
people.
Come on.
And it's a win for those people that are so insistent, that I'm hearing from all the time, protect our health care. Our judgment is the best way to do that.
She just voted to basically end the subsidies for people uh who need to who need the health care, right? Like, that's what that vote was. It was basically him saying, "We surrender. You can cut the subsidies." So at the beginning of the year, tons of people won't be able to afford their health care anymore. He's like, it's a win for those people. Is it? You just voted anyway. You just gave up all your leverage,
Is to get a bill on the floor. Is there a guarantee it will pass? No. Is it a guarantee it will pass in the House? There is actually some very strong interest in the House.
Ah, there is some strong interest in the House. By the way, Mike Johnson said he would never put it on the floor. I mean, maybe he will now, but okay.
Possibility of a bipartisan bill and to get a discharge petition, and then perhaps we're on the way. And we have that expression from Republican senators who are interested in working on a bill that will deal with the ACA issue and perhaps additional health care issues at the same time. So what happened tonight
Absolutely,
is
Luis.
not the closing of a chapter, it's the opening of an opportunity.
Guys, how do these politicians get into office? I'm sorry. Do you like he has zero charisma, none. Like none. I mean, obviously it was bribes. He just had a ton of money he was able to spend on ads to lie to people to get them to vote for him. But I mean, like
What the chapter it does close is the damaging shutdown that is only getting worse, that is only going to
that is
impact
good,
more and more
SoCal.
people. And it's an opportunity for us to move forward on behalf of all the people of this country
There we
on
go.
the issue of health care, but also on making the federal government
No doubt,
function.
Alan.
Thank you.
Oh, good. Okay, let's see what other lunatic we get up here. Who's this? I don't even know.
Well, good evening, everybody. At a time when family
You know what's ironic about this? She has a Ukrainian American thing going on here. Okay, Ukrainian American flag here. I'm sure she's pro sending Ukraine money. Hey, whatever, that's fine. And yet she doesn't want to do anything to help Americans get the money they need to pay for their health care because she just voted against. Get it? Okay. Exactly, Mithril. They are supposed to be in opposition. This is not opposition. This is pathetic.
desperately need relief, Washington's dysfunction is making life harder for families, and the last 39 days are proof of that.
And yet, people were siding with you. You were winning. You were winning, okay?
Record-long government shutdown paired with record-high health insurance cost increases is not the kind of history that the American people want Congress
Which she just enabled by not demanding the healthcare subsidies be renewed.
to make.
By the way, the amount of money that was taken out of SNAP is pocket change compared to the amount that is going to be taken from people's pockets due to the healthcare, the loss of the healthcare subsidies. I want people to be paid SNAP, but my point is that this is a relatively small sacrifice compared to the damage that'll be done by these increasing health costs. Okay, I'm gonna okay.
Over the last several weeks, I've heard from Granite Staters who can't afford a doubling of their health insurance costs.
So why'd
I've
you vote against
also
that? Why'd you give
heard
away all
from
your leverage?
families about the deep pain that the government shutdown has caused, made worse by a president who
And guess who they were blaming? They were blaming Donald Trump for that. Come on, you got to do politics, my dear. You have to do. Sorry, that was kind of misogynist. I shouldn't say the word dear, though. Admittedly, I say that about everyone in my daily life. Okay, anyway, but okay, you need to do politics. Okay,
illegally and repeatedly chose to cut off help for families
Yeah,
who
Mithril.
are just trying to buy groceries. After weeks of bipartisan conversations, I voted today to reopen the government so that we can get back to the work of helping Granite Staters. This agreement funds SNAP and food assistance programs, ensures that law enforcement, air traffic controllers, and other federal workers get paid.
That is a very good point, Mithril.
Reverses the president's recent reckless layoffs and prevents them from happening in the future, and crucially, gives Congress a clear path forward to protecting people's
it?
health care.
Does it give Congress
Our work to
okay?
deliver relief for families now enters an important phase. Congress
What?
has 1 month to engage in serious bipartisan negotiations to extend the Affordable Care Act's expiring.
They love that word, don't they? Bipartisanship. We get to be bipartisan with the Nazis. I'm so excited to sit in a room with a bunch of fascists and, do engage in bipartisanship. We'll find things to agree on. We'll find things to agree on. Like we all agree that the concentration camp should be painted pink, right? I mean, we can, how about this? We will give them the concentration camps as long as they are painted pink. Look, we got our demand. They're painted pink. Yay, we won. Okay, yay.
Tax cuts that help people afford their health insurance. And let's be really clear, part of what has been happening is the
I don't
time
blame you,
period
Mithril.
to make that meaningful extension of these tax cuts has been dwindling. We are getting closer and closer to the time in which families have to decide whether they
Obviously, we're not talking about building concentration camps here, but you get my point, right? Like, yeah, I'm gonna take away healthcare from everyone. I'm gonna starve them all to death. Well, I'm gonna, throw people into concentration camps, the immigration. But we need bipartisanship. We need bipartisanship, right, guys? Right? Who here wants to sit in a room with a bunch of fascists and hash out shared values and things like that, right?
can buy
I mean, it is easy though when you're all being bribed by the same corporations. I will say that does help a bit, doesn't it? Like if the airline company is bribing you and the fascist, you might be able to find an agreement.
their health insurance
yeah,
or
Alan.
not, and enroll in health insurance in this coming year. So
That is true, Maisie. Hey, yeah, that's fair.
my Democratic colleagues and I have been ready to work on this issue, on extending these tax cuts for months. With the government
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, that must be really hard work having all that power and being in a powerful elected position where you actually have to work, and actually try and come up with a deal. Mm.
reopening shortly, Senate Republicans now finally have to come to the table. Or make no mistake, Americans will remember who stood in the way.
It was the Republicans. All the most vast majority of Americans are blaming Republicans, blaming Republicans.
So I urge Speaker Johnson to finally return the House of Representatives into session and quickly reopen the government. And I urge all Americans in communities red, blue, and purple to continue to speak out about the importance of
Totally right,
affordable
DV8.
health care so that families across America can get that critical care that they
Why did you vote against it? Why did you vote to reopen the government when that was the only leverage you had? You don't want people to have the subsidies. Like either that or you're literally like you're a moron. Of course, we know that's not true though, right? The guy before her, all these folks are pretending to be ignorant. Yeah, and that's the thing, SoCal. I don't know. Do they not? Don't do? They might realize they're being played by like a violin, but they don't care, right? Like I don't know. It's hard to tell if it's competence or malicious ignorance, right? Like if they're doing it maliciously and hiding it, or they're incompetent. Like it's really hard to tell sometimes. Right, deviate. But yeah, all of you out there, you're the lazy ones, right? You don't work hard enough. That's why you're not making a good wage. It's not, these folks here who are doing the hard work of working only 60 days a year and then complaining about the work they have to do. That is fair, SoCal. Gullibility. Totally, Alan. Okay. Of course it is Demosthenes. Of course it's because there's only one party, Demosthenes. It's the business party, the wealthy party, okay? All right.
Thank you.
Oh my God. I'm
Thank
gonna lose.
you. And I
Oh my God, I thought that was Nancy Pelosi there at first. I'm like, what is she doing here? Okay, anyway.
thank my colleagues for their
Oh, that would be on brand, though, wouldn't it?
good work. The vote tonight, and you've heard all of us talking about this, the vote tonight was crucial to open the government because too many Americans, hardworking individuals, seniors, children
It was,
were
DV.
suffering. I know in Nevada,
You're right.
particularly,
They were.
that is based on a service
Look at that. I'm sorry.
industry,
Look at that
tourism and
sad
travel.
look on her face. Like, oh, I'm so sad and concerned. I'm so sad and concerned. I know I just voted to make it impossible to pass those subsidies. So, thousands of people will lose health care coverage or have to pay 300% premiums. But I'm so sad.
We are doubly hit. Tariffs, bad policies of this administration, and the shutdown
And you just bowed to that administration. Good job. Good job. Great, strong fighter.
was having an impact on travel to our state and quite honestly across the country. But it wasn't just that. We have federal workers that were suffering. We have TSA agents. We have airport controllers. And we were seeing lines to our food banks in northern Nevada. These were lines that I hadn't
Absolutely,
seen since the
Mithril. So, guys, I like to point out, look, okay, guys, notice, she is automatically talking about the airline industry, right? Like there were lines at airports. But the airline industries are some of the biggest donors to these politicians. So, hey, does maybe that explain why they all bowed their heads like slugs? Okay.
pandemic. And the stories were horrific. Seniors in line needing food because they couldn't get access to the food that they usually would get.
Oh my God, Meowser, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Meowser says, hello, Meowser, by the way. Your boyfriend verbally and physically assaults you. Why did you get back together with him? I don't know. He just feels safe, and I know he cares about me. Yeah, it's like like, they're bowing to Trump, the one who has been beating them over the head. Like, I'm gonna lose my mind. Macy, what are you referring to there when you refer to Jimmy Neutron? Hadn't fried his own brain, own brain because the anti-intellectual populace hated him being big brain. Maybe he could write a good bill. What do you mean, Macy? Oh, I see what you're saying, Macy. Okay, I got you. Yeah, she doesn't understand the situation well enough. BS off the cuff like she's trying to. Yeah.
At the federal level. One man came and refused to say who he was because he was embarrassed and said I shouldn't be here, but he needed the food. Mothers coming to the food bank to get food for their children. My colleagues know that opening the
Oh my God.
government was key to stopping that pain. But here's the thing. We
You
can
know what this is? This is her admitting, though, that, because she previously had voted to keep the government. Didn't, I don't know. Maybe she did. Maybe she did vote to keep the government open. There were some Democrats that were voting to keep it open, but a lot of them were voting against keeping the government open. So what changed your mind? It also makes them look like the guilty ones now that they are voting for it.
open the government and we can still fight to address this looming healthcare crisis. It is true. Right now, in our states and across the country, Americans are seeing higher costs, higher premiums for their
And Doug,
Affordable
it
Care
almost
Act.
certainly will pass in the
These
House.
are
It almost
people
certainly will pass
that
in
need
the House.
access to health care. I have families that rely on the Affordable Care Act and these subsidies so that
And why did you vote to get rid of your leverage, you idiot?
their children who have a rare disease can access their medication. I have small businesses who rely on the Affordable Care Act and the subsidies to help cover the costs for their employees. This is a fight that the Republicans need to understand is not just happening in Nevada.
Right, don't you love that? She's making it seem like the Republicans need to understand, let's go across the aisle, help them to think rationally about the situation, right? Help them to think, competently and things like that. They have people's best interests on mind. We should just convince them that they're wrong. I have a feeling that won't work. I don't know about all of you. I just don't think that'll work. I don't know. I feel like the Republicans are beyond that at this point, right? I don't think we're going to do this wishy-washy bipartisanship with the Republicans at this point.
It is happening across the country in every state, including those red states. This fight tonight is, I agree with Senator Angus, is just the beginning. This is the beginning to show and fight for Americans across the country. Let me just say this. With the government open, we can focus on passing a full bipartisan budget for 2026 that starts with a
Guys, I am sure that bipartisan budget will be great for all of us, right? I'm sure any bipartisan budget they pass will include massive beneficial things for us, right? I'm sure it won't dole out tons of money to the military, massive subsidies for corporations, whatever else, goes into these nonsense things. I'm sure I'm sure we'll be well suited.
minibus that will restore funding that President Trump cut. It delivers millions of dollars in critical funding to states like Nevada, all across the country. And you will hear blocks the administration from future rifts. We have an opportunity also to put Republicans on the record on the ACA. Are they committed?
Really? That'll be your big win, is we get them on the record voting against the subsidies. Okay, and then what? Guess what? If they vote against it, no subsidies. So then a lot of the country will be suffering terribly. But hey, at least they're on the record saying no, right? Okay.
To doing this. Are they committed? Leader Thune said he would come to the table on a health care once the government was open, and now he must follow through. If Republicans want to join us,
must he? Is it written in stone? Is it a law? First of all, okay, let's say he does follow through. That doesn't mean it'll pass at all, right? They got nothing out of this.
In lowering costs for working families, they have the perfect opportunity to show the American public. I expect Republicans to be at the table in the next few weeks. I expect the White House to be at the table, and if they do,
that is a really good point,
not to come to the table, they can own the disastrous premium increases.
We might need to start a new party, to be honest, Malzord, or there might need to be a new one.
They will own the fact that Americans across this country are going to lose access to health care.
Yeah.
We were elected in the Senate to work on...
Weirdamorphous Blob, are you shocked at this outcome? I'm sure you're not, right? Right. Yeah, and I'm sure they're like, "Why are we so unpopular? Why do they hate us so much?" What we need to do is we need to moderate more and try to reach out to the right wing, okay? We need to well, we should push for more right-wing policies because clearly what we're doing now isn't working, and that's the only way we can go.
Real solutions that help working families. It's our responsibility
Of
to
course,
work
weird Mortis
not
blob.
only
Me
here
too.
amongst ourselves, but across the aisle to solve these problems for the Americans, make their lives a little bit easier.
Right, Dolly boy.
And that's what we have done tonight.
Oh my God, it's so embarrassing. Okay,
So, hey, everybody. I'm the
Look at it.
cleanup hitter because I joined this group the last.
I'm the
I joined
cleanup
it
hitter.
48 hours ago.
Okay, you know what? We're done with this. I think you all get it. You all get it. Okay, you all get it. You all get it. So we don't need to watch all this. I just needed this was mainly for my sake. I got to be honest with you. I needed to yell at them for a little bit. Uh, liars, liars all around. Right, totally actual clown. So okay. Um, I have long debate. I'm going to put my face up for this. I don't have an answer for what I'm about to talk about. I just need you all to, yeah, we need some gesture here, regular. I just need us all to think about this, okay? At what point, at what point do we abandon the Democratic Party? I know this, like, people have been talking about this for a while, but I've never known the line here. At what point do we create another party, abandon the Democratic Party and create a new one? I mean, obviously, along with doing, nonviolent resistance and things like that, because, like, and this is what concerns me, right? Obviously, that could cause a big problem, right? Because of our two-party system, that could cause an issue with the Republicans start winning everything. But like at what point though? You see, this is why I don't know the answer because it is a really hard issue in a two-party system to create a third party when you know that might automatically mean the fascists win everything. Um I don't know, but I'm reaching that point. I'm reaching that point where I think there's only one good answer. Okay. No, absolutely, Meowzord, and I guess the donors were getting kind of worked up. Yep, thank you, Trump failed. You know what? Who did? Oh, I do. I do, Mithril. I remember. Um, no, I get it, SoCal, and like more Democrats I know, have been turning against the party. Yeah, but see, Fox, you're right, Fox Elmo. So what could be done is like what we do, what Mamdani did, right? He ran under the Democratic Party, but he ran with the DSA. So getting um, progressive candidates and things like that, into the Democratic Party using the Democratic Party banner. Um, but at the same time, it's like the Democrats will then try to snipe them while they're in the party. Like it is such a I'm really frustrated and I don't really know the answer. Okay. Um okay, global. All right. All right. Local seats not I got you. Okay. I think all right. So there's a lot of good comments here. I'm trying to work through them. That is true, Louise. Maybe get the unions involved. I'm so tired of this. You all know. You all know I'm tired of this. Okay. New Nebraska and Kentucky have okay, interesting, Macy. We'll see where it goes. Okay. Yeah, I don't. That is a really. I think it depends. Meowzord. Actually, it doesn't depend. I would have to look it up, Meowzord. There are some thresholds you'd have to meet. I can't remember off the top of my head. When we will look through it. Yeah, this is why it's an issue. And so for now, I feel almost compelled to continue voting Democrat because without a third party that has a chance of winning, it seems impossible to not vote Democrat because then the Republicans will just win. So I don't really know. Okay. Well, it's just something to think about. SoCal. The thing is, it is possible. Bernie is an independent. Angus King is an independent, and Bernie has come has come the closest. Maybe now with the new wave hitting the beach, more will succeed. Let's hope so, Cal. And folks, we did just recently have a lot of success, did we not? With the recent elections, Mamdani, that's a good sign. This might be a small defeat, and I'm wondering if partially this defeat, I mean this democratic, sluggish action is partially because of Mamdani women winning. They're afraid that the shutdown is radicalizing people. Okay, that's fair, Mithril. So we will. Yeah, you're right, Dolly Boy. Okay, so anyway, so for now, I guess I am gonna still do Democrat stuff, but I just don't know. I need to do more research on, the what happened to start a new party or whatever. Okay, all right. So, folks, um, let us do this. Okay, there is a lot of news items to cover. Yeah, absolutely, SoCal. Okay. Maybe we all turn Republican and just infiltrate the regime. Yeah, we could do that, Meows, or we could, right? That's why I was saying, like, everyone should call themselves Antifa from now on or whatever. And then, or like, not Antifa, but should say that the Republicans, we could do that, Meows. Okay. So, I'll think more about it. Yeah, Miro, well, I'll need to think more about it. I just wanted to sort of spitball that with you. Okay, so we have some other news items to cover. First of all, we have the Democrats caving, which I'm sure brings everyone a substantial amount of joy. First of all, if we get 2 more super chats, 2 more, I will put on the jester collar. Yay, jester collar! And then if we get to 5, I'll put on the makeup. Okay, and we'll put to 5, I'll put on the makeup. And then if I get to 7, we'll do a Q&A, and if we get to 10. We'll do the whatever the hell is it called? The Digest After Dark stream, okay? If you're over on Twitch, please subscribe you can subscribe for free if you have Amazon Prime. Give me some of Jeff Bezos' money, help redistribute the wealth. Or follow me. That works too. That works too. By the way, if you send 200 bits, that counts towards our super chat goal. Same thing with subscribing. Paid subscriptions also count towards the goal. So love you all. Thank you. Thank you for that. And if you want to buy me a coffee, it's located in the lower right there in the screen. You see that little thing there? You can just put your phone up to that and you'll be able to buy me a coffee. Okay, that's not big of a deal. Okay. All right. So we have some other news items to cover. We don't have not all the news today is bad. Most of it is. The vast majority is bad, but not all of it's bad. So here's another piece of news. I got you, Fox. That's a good idea. Okay. So we do have some good news. I will put this up so that we all can see it. All right. Okay. And where's my face? All right. So we get one little piece of good news. This is just sort of a what's it called? A filler, a palate cleanser. Okay, after that. The Supreme Court did reject a call to overturn its decision legalizing same-sex marriage nationwide. So hey, you win some, you mainly lose some, but you occasionally win a tiny, tiny bit. Okay, we got a tiny, tiny win here in the fact that the Supreme Court has rejected an attempt to overturn the legalization of same-sex marriage over nationwide. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. It's a small thing, admittedly. In my opinion, even as a gay man, it's kind of a small thing, but it's a important thing. Okay, yay. We can be happy about that, right? We can be happy about that. It seems like, I don't know. I wish we could get some economic wins. Let's put it that way. All right, so that's good news. That's good news because, folks, as Supreme Court on Monday rejected a call to this is absolutely, Macy. Fantastic. Okay, absolutely. I'm skeptical that this is a justification that they're not totally MAGA. No, it's very possible, Meowzord. I suspect they have a political reason for doing this. But at the same time, Yalzor, they are showing a lot of now. This doesn't you know well, Malzor, that this doesn't mean that they will get rid of the tariffs, but there has been a lot of evidence that they might overturn the tariffs. We'll see what happens. So the Supreme Court on Monday rejected a call to overturn its landmark decision that legalized same-sex marriage nationwide. The justices, without comment, turned away an appeal from Kim Davis. Okay, all right. So again, that's good news, right? I mean, probably, Dolly Boy, probably. But hey, I support that. I support not overturning gay marriage because, folks, okay, I can't curse during the daytime streams. Who the hell cares? What do you mean, SoCal? It's mixed. What do you mean? How is it mixed? What is it? Would you explain to me more, SoCal? How is it mixed? Okay. All right. Oh, no, no. I understand, SoCal, but she was pushing to overturn it, which I'm glad that at least means that they're not going to listen to the objection, right? They're not going to overturn it. Okay. So, hey, thank you, Dolly Boy. That's my thing, folks. Like, who cares? Who cares if someone wants to get married? You can get married. Like, who cares? Like, I know SoCal, but it is a good victory, right? At least it's not I trust me, SoCal. I'm not exactly optimistic about this, but hey, let me have my good news, SoCal. Okay. Jeez, I know I'm going to be thrown into a camp at some point, but for now, let me feel happy. Okay. Okay. I'm laughing. I'm really crying. So, who cares? Like if you don't like gay marriage, folks, I think you all know this. Don't get gay married. All right, just don't. It's it might not be your thing. So I don't see why it matters. Who cares what people do? Obviously. So the fact that this is even a debate is stupid. Regardless, it has to be because there are idiots out there, bigots, etc. So anyway, okay, there's a slight win, right? A slight win. At least this one was shot down for now, right? At least this attempt to overturn gay marriage was shot down for now. Okay. Meanwhile, the Epstein files still haven't been released. So apparently, some folks in this country think it's worse that gay people get married. Adult gay people get married. They think that's worse than a child sex trafficking ring. Okay. Yeah. Oh, you're actually right, Giselle. I did forget about that. Yeah. Darn, I did forget about that. If I remember correctly, trans people can't use what gender they are in their passport. Yes, that was a loss for the LGBTQ community. That I forgot to mention. Yeah. Okay. Which is really annoying, obviously, and is oppressive as hell. So that's, of course, trans people have been losing these fights now. Okay. Is it gay for me to marry? No, does no gay marriage mean I can't marry anyone? Like, is it gay for me to marry a man, or is it gay? Though, yeah, that's a good point, Weird. I should say, they legalize same-sex marriage. I keep saying gay marriage. I'm sorry, it's my gay bias, right? Same-sex marriage. You can marry someone, but that's a good point, Weird Amorphous Blob. If you're transgender, we all know the Trump administration doesn't respect the gender of transgender people. So, damn all of you for making this more complicated. I just wanted an easy palate cleanser, and now you all are pointing out how naive I am. How dare you? Okay, how dare you? Okay, yeah, you're right. Transgender people are basically the new Jew in terms of fascism. Like everyone's going after the transgender folks. It is horrifying. Okay. Like, what if I live in a northern state that would accept the gender, but the federal? That's a really good point, Weird Amorphous Blob. I didn't even consider these things. Okay. Damn it, Weird Amorphous Blob. How dare you all point out the truth? Okay. Okay. Okay, you guys. All right. The one thing reserving them. Oh, you know what, SoCal, you're probably right. They probably didn't overturn it because it would prohibit them from prohibiting interracial marriage. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Okay. Oh, absolutely, SoCal. Okay, anyway. So, by the way, folks, we can't forget. I made the error by even pointing this out. We can't forget that transgender people are still in a great deal of danger. They're in the midst of essentially a almost ethnic cleansing level purge in terms of the government trying to make them invisible. Passports, things like that, trying to uh, removing trying to get any education about transgender people out there. Uh, So if a woman honestly, Drusilla, so if a woman and a trans woman want to marry, it's still okay. I would guess yes, Drusilla. I know weird amorphous blob, right? Everyone hates transgender folks, apparently. Disgusting. Okay. All right. So you know what we should do, folks? I will do actually a stream sometime more on what's going on with transgender folks, because uh, yeah, exactly. That's the thing, right? A transgender woman would be viewed as a male because according to the goddamn Trump administration, okay. Uh, that's amazing, Meowzord. I didn't know that. That's cool. Your aunt were also among the first few gay married in New York, when it became legal. Meowzord, Meowzord has a bunch of weird connections to the gay community. Starting to get sus of Meowzord here. Meowzord's quote unquote wife, right? Meowzord, right? Is she your roommate? I'm just kidding, Meowzord. I love you. Okay, anyway. So okay. All right. So I know. Yeah, there are a lot of people. I know Meowzord, right? You told me that your uncle was a gay icon in the '80s. Yep, absolutely. There are gay people, folks, like not non-transgender gay people who are anti-trans. It is really disgusting. Really disgusting. Okay. Um. Okay. I was gay in the fourth grade because I sharpened both ends of my pencil. Macy. Okay. That's true, SoCal. Okay, guys. All right. So, let's go on to the next thing here. So there's that, I guess, slightly positive news. Let's get back to the shit, right? Because there's a whole heaping, smelly pile of it that a couple of Catholics are going to fall into, like we talked about during the 30 Years War. Okay, you like how I did that reference? Another great piece of news here. By great, I mean horrifying and annoying as hell, and also more dismantling of. Remember, we talked about fascism being partially the dismantling of the law. Keep your enemies close and the gays closer. Meowzord, you're not wrong because the gay mafia controls everything. For the gays in chat, for the gays, trans people, any LGBTQ folks in chat, don't forget that we are the Illuminati that control everything. Okay, anyway, I mean secretly, we don't tell that to people. Okay, so Trump issued pardons for Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell. Okay. Remember, she was the lady who said, "We're gonna release the Kraken. We're gonna release the Kraken and show how the elections were rigged." Okay, so she just got pardoned. Rudy Giuliani just got pardoned. You're right, Rudy. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it out loud. Okay. And the ones who actually tried to do the fake elector scheme, he just pardoned them. So good. Great news for law and order, right? We can just pardon people who are attempting to overthrow a democratic elections. Okay, what are your questions, Macy? About gay versus les. I keep using the word gay, but I guess I'm using it as a catch-all. We could say lesbians, gay people, people with same-sex attraction, I should say. Okay. He is still disbarred. You're right, Mithril. But of course, we can't actually have any sort of real laws in this country. Got to dismantle anything. Even like anyway. So that's good news, right? Love that for us. Love that for us. Another thing here. This I thought was actually kind of funny. Uh, I know, right, Macy? I know. You're right. I loved it. Okay. Someone posted this. Who posted this in on Discord? Who was it? I think it was it Miro? I think it was Miro. Yeah, exactly, SoCal. I mean, if I'm wrong, Miro, tell me. Someone posted this. So this is on what, Blue Sky? This is kind of a side note here. The Trump administration, as a historian, it drove me insane. As a the U.S. government has quietly removed a memorial to black soldiers who died in World War II. So there is an American cemetery in Margraten, Netherlands, and portion of that a portion of that graveyard was devoted to American black soldiers. And the American government, following a complaint from the Heritage Foundation, so the people that did Project 2025, decided to quietly remove that part of the cemetery because apparently they're not human enough to be in the cemetery, according to the Heritage Foundation. The Dutch newspaper reports that 2 memorial panels installed at the NAC were removed from sometime earlier this year. They commemorate African American soldiers who helped liberate Europe from German occupation during World War II. Good, good, love that. Great. The people fighting for our literally for not only the freedom of Americans, but for the freedom of Europeans from the Nazi scourge. Just being erased because they have dark skin color, probably, and it's too woke to mention how an oppressed people fought for all of us. Anyway, so there's that. There's that. Love that. Love that for us. Love it. Great. Okay. So that's fun. That's a bit of a small thing. We all love that, right? We're all super excited to hear about that. Um, right, Mithra. Okay, right. Don't you just all love erasing history, especially when it seems specifically targeted against people who aren't white? By the way, the Netherlands needs to work on its racial. Needs to work. Let me show you something. If there's one place you probably need some things like that, it's the Netherlands. Okay, I'm kind of exaggerating, but the Netherlands still does this. And they claim it's tradition and stuff, and it kind of is, but uh, let's see here. No, they maybe need to be more recognizing of black folks because of things like this. Uh, what is this thing? Oh, here we go. This is called this is called the Sinterklaas. They have parades in the Netherlands with this figure. Uh, and it is a you can kind of see it here. The Sinterklaas. Now, I think this is what I'm thinking of. Yeah, so they're called Black Pete's. Um, and they are supposed to represent they wear large gold earrings, afro style wigs, red red lipstick, and a full blackface makeup, and it's a racist reference to slavery, and they just do this in their parades. Like, okay, now I get it. Yeah, there is there's a different cultural heritage in the Netherlands, but they engaged in imperialism. I don't think this is appropriate at all. Okay. They still do it though because they claim it's tradition. So anyway, my point is maybe the Netherlands does need to learn a little bit. Anyway, okay, kind of JDH, kind of. Now for them, it doesn't originate from minstrel shows like it does in the U.S. But anyway, so but Netherlands, great place to live. I'm just saying, like I would love to live in the Netherlands. Just maybe they need to work on that. Uh, I exactly. I totally agree, Fox Emblem. It is BS when you say it's culture. Just like in the U.S., minstrel shows were part of our culture. Want to keep them though. Okay. Um, I know weird amorphous blob. Yeah, there is a lot of racism in Europe. Um, I know Drizella. Trust me, I've met some Dutch folks. Okay, I'm exaggerating. A lot of um Dutch folks are great. I've met some Dutch folks who they're human beings. What am I saying? Shouldn't be talking about the Dutch. Some of them are not aren't are kind of not the best. Okay. So anyway, just a side note there. Let us lastly, the last thing I wanted to briefly talk to you all about, kind of, because it's going to start a new, I guess, era in our streams, kind of. Donald Trump made an announcement on November 7th. This was his announcement. He is announcing that, was it this week is Anti-Communism Week. Anti-Communism Week. Oh my. Oh my. Anti-Communism Week. Woof. Anti-Communism Week. Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump. So what does this mean? Well, we can guess why he did this, right? Right in your group, Infrastructure Week. And this is so I'm gonna read it to you because guys, it is funny. It is like so dumb. Um, oh, I know. Trust me, weird amorphous blob. I know. I used to teach in these schools. There's a lot of anti-communist stuff there. So exactly, guys. The reason a jester is I wish that'd be kind of cool. Global. I mean, it wouldn't be. So yeah, they're upset because of Mondani. 100% JDH. Okay. So let me read to you what Donald Trump says here. Okay. This week, our nation observes Anti-Communism Week, a solemn remembrance of the devastation caused by one of history's most destructive ideologies. Across continents and generations, communism has wrought devastation upon nations and souls. More than 100 million lives have been taken by regimes that sought to erase faith, suppress freedom, and destroy prosperity earned through hard work, violating the God-given rights and dignity of those they oppressed. As we honor their memory, we renew our national promise to stand firm against communism, to uphold the cause of liberty and human worth, and to affirm once more that no system of government can ever replace the will and conscience of a free people. Exactly, Dolly Boy. And by the way, is this like, does this even mean anything? Like, it is such ambiguous language. Yeah, there you go, weird amorphous blob. Yep, McCarthyism level 2, right, Meowzord? Weird amorphous blob, you're totally right. Like the czar was, yeah, earned tons of stuff through hard work, right? Just like all those capitalist overlords, those super wealthy people who work, 4 or 5 jobs to survive. It could be SoCal. It should be rain from fail. I'm gonna lose my mind. Thank you in your group. What if the people vote for socialism? Then is it still oppressive and anti-democratic? Weird amorphous blob. Okay. All right. Here we go. We got more. We're okay. For more than a century, communism has brought nothing but ruin wherever it spreads. Uh, it silences dissent, punishes beliefs, and demands that generations kneel before the power of the state instead of instead of standing for freedom. Because, and by the way, folks, what's happening in the Trump administration? Let's reread this. It silences dissent, punishes beliefs, and demands that generations kneel before the power of the state instead of standing for freedom. Is it just me, or is that like kind of seem like projection? Like they kind of revealing themselves there? All right. Oh, totally not. They have no idea what communism is, right? Yep. uh, oh, totally. It's so pathetic. It's so funny. It's like their babies whining by doing this. Uh, okay. Oh, that is a fair. That is actually that's a good point, Meowser. That is a good point about saying that they'll just say, "Well, why don't we vote for fascism?" Okay. Um. Okay. I will bet Noni. I can assure you. All right. What else we got here? Okay. Um. Okay. It is a story written in blood and sorrow, a grim reminder that communism is nothing more than another word for servitude. In the 34 years, okay, blah, 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 I'm going to go. Okay, here we go. New voices now repeat old lies, cloaking them in the language of social justice and democratic socialism. Yet their message remains the same. Give up your freedom, place your trust in the power of government, and trade the promise of prosperity for the empty comfort of control. America rejects this evil doctrine. Okay. We remain a nation founded on the eternal truth that liberty and opportunity are the birthrights of every person, and that no ideology, whether foreign or domestic, can extinguish them. This is all just like raging at Mamdani, is it not? Is it not? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, we're almost done here. As we mark Anti-Communism Week, we stand united in defense of the values uh, okay, that define us as a free people. We honor the victims of oppression by keeping their cause alive and by ensuring that communism and every system that denies the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, I guess they don't like themselves then, okay, will find their place once and for all in the ash heap of history. Okay. So, uh, yeah, that's that. Isn't that fun? So, guys, right now, this is hilarious to me. I just think it's really funny. So, this is what we're gonna do, folks. In honor of Anti-Communism Week, uh, look at the number of years he quotes for the U.S. He's a year out. That's hilarious. Wait, he does? I witness thereof. I have hereunto set my hand this seventh day of November in the year of our Lord 2025, and of the independence of the United States of America, the 250th. Donald, oh my God, disgusting mithril. Okay, yeah, you're right. There is no attention to your matter. Listen, okay, so this is what we're gonna do, folks. In honor of Anti-Communism Week, and because I'm in a sour mood, sour mood, right? First they came for, hey, the jesters always get away, right, Global? Totally, Doug, because they don't care about that, right? So, in honor of Anti-Communism Week, we are going to have an Anti-Capitalism Week. I should put it this way: you all know I'm a socialist, so I know not everyone here is socialist, but we're definitely going to have a critique capitalism week. So we're going to talk about some of the problems with capitalism, and there are ways to fix these problems, either by having an entirely new system, or you could argue that there are ways to do reforms or move towards a more social democratic system, which is still capitalist but has some major reforms. For example, like in the Nordic countries. So if you're not socialist, please still watch because I'm sure you could think of ways to at least improve these things, even if you're not a socialist. Okay. Exactly, Dolly Boy, which is going to be an issue. So I may not actually do this every day, but I'm going to start today by talking about some critiques of capitalism. And, we can, so just, cause I'm in a sour mood. Um, so let's do that, shall we? It's Fox Emblem. I think you know what I think about that. But but regardless, let us look at some ways that capitalism might be a bit flawed. Okay. Um, so I have a little presentation here for all y'all. Uh, okay, there you go, Weird Marvel's Love. Okay, so here we go, folks. So let's talk about some critiques of capitalism, shall we? Now, again, there honestly, folks, we would be here as who was it that mentioned this? Uh Okay, I know you guys. Okay, for those here who are, what was I about to say here? Totally lost my. Okay, so there are so many critiques we could level against capitalism. We would be here for months. So for today, I just put a few in here. Okay, just a few, and I should point out that I'm mainly critiquing free market capitalism. Okay, well, we'll talk about this. Okay, so what do we mean first of all? Okay. That's true, Doug. Okay. Uh, let us uh, let us talk about what is capitalism. Okay. You should join the party. Says Karl Marx. You see, he's partying there. All right. So, according to Karl Marx, right, capitalism is an economic system where you have where private owners control the means of production. Uh, So means of production being things like factories, tools, the things you need to produce stuff, okay, create stuff. And they then go on to exploit the labor of the working class for profit. Okay, so you have a private owner who owns the means of production, and then they use the labor of others to create that profit that they then extract. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. Yes, for the hardline Marxist in chat here, I know there's more I could add to this, but for the sake of simplicity, okay. So at the core of capitalism is this idea of the employer-employee relationship, okay? In other economic systems, it might be different. For example, under slavery, you have a master and a slave, or an owner and a slave. And in feudalism, you have a lord and a serf, okay? But under capitalism, it's employer-employee, all right? Yeah, the bourgeois. I absolutely know Trump failed. So this exploitation, according to Karl Marx, there's other people, by the way, who have critiqued capitalism other than Karl Marx, but this is he's one of the most well-known critiquers of capitalism. So um, just for the defining it, I'm using his definition, okay? This exploitation, so this basically extracting of surplus labor from the workers by the capitalists, by the bourgeois, leads to alienation where people basically feel disconnected from their own labor and their own humanity because they become like cogs in a machine and they don't own the products of their labor. Okay. Okay. Right. So that is what he defines as capitalism. Now, there are different kinds of capitalism, right? Just like, by the way, there are different kinds of socialism. So to be like all socialism is like Soviet Union style socialism is not true, or like all socialism is like Pol Pot level socialism is not true. There are different types of socialism. Same things with capitalism. Hello, resident union thug. Okay, so here we go. There is state capitalism. All right, state capitalism is where enterprises are privately owned but the state directly intervenes in those enterprises, okay, by allocating subsidies, resources, or credit to capitalist enterprises, and sometimes even taking partial or total ownership of those enterprises, but still but still having them run with an employer-employee relationship, if that makes sense. Okay, yes, like China, Fox Emblem, like China. Yeah, China, okay. And by the way, the United States does some of this. We give lots of subsidies to like oil companies and things like this. Okay. And by the way, most capitalist systems kind of are a combo of those things. All right. Yeah, right in your groove. Okay. Another form of capitalism here is welfare capitalism. And again, most of these most capitalist societies have kind of a combination of things. So welfare capitalism is where enterprises and/or the state provide extensive benefits to employees, such as generous paid time off, universal healthcare systems, and strong collective bargaining agreements between workers and owners. One example of this is the Nordic model of capitalism. Okay, so a lot of Nordic countries do sort of welfare capitalism, where they do have pretty significant benefits for their employees. Also, by the way, these are very happy places. A lot of the people that live here have much higher rates of happiness and things like that. So when you give lots of benefits to folks, it can be very useful. So for those in the chat that aren't socialist or don't want a complete switch to socialism, this is a good alternative, right? If you want to keep capitalism, one way you could do that, or at least to improve things, is to go towards welfare capitalism. Okay, which would be like social democrats. Okay. All right, where you actually have generous benefits and things like that, okay, to sort of offset the suffering caused by the capitalism. Okay, anyway. Lastly, here is free market capitalism, which those of us in the United States love love free market capitalism. Okay, free market capitalism is where private enterprises operate without the intervention of government or any external authority. I mean, unless you're talking about defending the property of capitalists. Okay, enterprises are left to succeed or fail without state intervention. Well, apparently we do save them anyway if they make a mistake. Okay, and their actions are largely dictated by the whims of the market. Okay. Again, all capitalist systems might be some combo of these three things. All right. Do we all get that? We all get that. In the end, though, folks, you see here at the top, all of these kinds of these capitalist systems, the main goal for the bourgeois, the owners, is to maximize profit. It is in their it makes sense. It is the logical thing. It is not necessarily a judgment to say that they should seek profit. That is their goal. As a matter of fact, underneath that system, if they don't only seek profit, they might be destroyed by other capitalist enterprises. So it's almost rational that they only care about greed and profit because the system requires it. Okay? Absolutely weird amorphous blob, okay? So that's why there's not really ever a pure free market capitalist system, okay? All right. So, some things to criticize about these systems, okay? And again, I'm not going to this is going to seem kind of like a woven essay here. I'm not going to talk about all of the like everything to criticize about capitalism. So I'm going to take little bits and over the week I'll show you more, okay? So, first thing, let's talk about artificial scarcity and demand. Okay? So, God help me for having to. I feel like I'm in a Econ 101 class, or I'm teaching financial literacy to some of my high school students. Okay. By the way, it's always fun as a socialist to teach financial literacy. I mean, I wouldn't teach them socialism. Obviously, I teach them what I'm supposed to teach them, but sometimes I have to keep my mouth shut. Okay. So exactly, Dolly Boy. Okay. So, supply and demand. For those who don't know, I think most of you know what supply and demand is. So, supply and demand sort of determine the price of items. I know I'm oversimplifying this. Determine the price of things in a market. Okay. Amongst other things, right? Labor theory of value and all that. But anyway, supply and demand. Okay, determines how much things cost. Exactly. Weird. Okay. So if demand, so if demand is how many, like how much do people want a commodity, right? So if there's something out there that people really want and need, it has a high demand. Okay, if a lot of people want it, need it, high demand. If only a few people want it, it's not that popular, that means low demand. Okay. On the other hand, then there's supply. How much of that product exists? Are there a lot of this commodity out there? Is there not much of that commodity out there? So this is how it works. If there is a high demand, right? If there is a high demand for something, and the supply stays the same, the price of that item will go up. Okay. Because if there's more demand for it and there's the same amount of supply, that company can charge more for that product, knowing that there's a lot of people that want it. So they'd be willing to pay more for that product. Does that make sense? Okay. On the other hand, if supply goes down, so if there's less of something and demand stays the same, so there is no difference in demand and supply goes down, price goes up also. Because if there's less of something, that company can once again try to make more profit by increasing the price so that the people who are willing to get it would be afford it. Do you see what I mean? Okay. So depending on supply and demand, it changes price. Okay. Uh, I'm only talking about part of this to make so that the next point here makes sense. Okay. Um, yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. Weirdomorphous blob. I'm not going to mention that for the sake of clarity, but you're right. Okay. All right. Let's talk about diamonds. Okay. I promise I have a point here. Okay. I have a point here. Okay. I have a point here. Let's talk about diamonds. Everyone loves diamonds. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Oh, okay, right. Okay, no, that's by the way a misogynist sort of thing from the 1950s or 60s. Anyway, okay, diamonds, right? Diamonds, gotta love diamonds. Hello, Maxim. Okay, diamonds. Let's talk about diamonds. Right, love it. Okay, okay, let's talk about diamonds. So diamonds, right? So let's talk about Cecil Rhodes. For the people from the UK in here, you probably know very much, quite a bit about Cecil Rhodes. I'm guessing you've probably heard about him. Okay, Cecil Rhodes and diamonds. So in 1800, diamonds were discovered all across South Africa. Okay, yeah, okay, and I'm not going to talk about all the horrors he did at cycling, Dolly Boy, but I'm going to talk about the diamond thing. Okay, uh, this okay, exactly, Demosthenes. Okay, he discovered they discovered all across South Africa these diamonds. Okay, and in 1888, the Englishman Cecil Rhodes, um, uh, the Englishman Cecil Rhodes founded the De Beers Mining Company, and bought up most of the diamond mines in South Africa. He basically had a monopoly. It was about 90. He bought up about 90% of all the diamond mines in South Africa. And they were producing a lot of diamonds, a lot of diamonds. But based off what I just told you all about supply and demand, okay, what happens if you have a set demand and then the supply of something goes up? What'll happen to the price of that thing if there is a higher supply of that thing, but the demand stays the same? Cecil, I'm sorry, not Cecil. My apologies, Mithril. My apologies. Cecil, excuse me. Forgive me. We're separated by a common language, right, Mithril? You folks over there in the exactly, Trump failed. The price of those diamonds goes down, 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 down. So is it to the benefit of the diamond company, the diamond mines, to have more or less diamonds available for purchase if the demand is staying the same, knowing that the price will go down if they have more, right? Obviously, it is not in their interest. So, this is what De Beers did. Yeah. De Beers stockpiled, basically brought to London and put into a giant vault um, most of their mined diamonds, and only released a limited number to the market, thus artificially limiting supply and resulting in increased prices. This is called artificial scarcity, and companies do it all the time. They will literally purposefully reduce the supply of a commodity so that the price of it goes up so that they get more money for it. Okay? And the De Beers company was brilliant at this, and they were able and still are able to keep prices very high by limiting the supply. Even though they have tons of diamonds, they only release a few at a time because diamonds aren't nearly as rare as you think they are. They're not that rare. Okay. It gets worse though, folks. It gets worse. So the reason that okay, yeah, we basically have infinite diamonds now. Yeah, Mithra, he was horrible. The reason diamonds are so expensive is because of this artificial scarcity. By the way, even today, we can create diamonds. We can artificially create diamonds. There's no real reason for diamonds to be as expensive as they are. Not really a reason for it. It is artificial. Okay. Does that seem super efficient? That's what capitalism does because profits are all that matters. Does that seem super efficient that we have things that are much more expensive than they should be just for the sake of making profit? Okay. Regardless, so the diamond companies actually manipulate the supply of diamonds to increase their price. Does that sound like a free market also? Is that really a market if you're just manipulating it? No. Okay. Let's go on here. But wait, folks, there's more. Okay. But wait, folks, there is more. All right, there's more. Because there's another side to the supply and demand thing, right? It's demand. Okay. So De Beers, since we're on the De Beers track here. In 1938, there's always more. In 1938, De Beers decided to advertise to boost sales. They had an issue because diamonds were still viewed as this luxury item that only the wealthy could afford, okay? And because they had kept prices high, they were having trouble selling. They had trouble convincing a lot of people to buy diamonds, okay? So they using research by an advertising agency, they proved that diamonds were still perceived as only for the ultra wealthy, okay? And so in the 1940s, De Beers launched a groundbreaking marketing campaign that forever changed the globe's perception of diamonds. With the help of an ad agency in New York, they coined the famous slogan, "A diamond is forever," which I'm sure all of you have heard at least once. This campaign aimed to convey the durability of diamonds and trying to equate that with the concept of everlasting love and marriage. That is why, by the way, folks, today, when you get engaged or get married, you're expected to bring your wife or your partner a diamond. That was not a tradition that existed prior, or at least it did not exist in a widespread way at all. The diamond company, it was a purposeful push by the diamond companies to make that a tradition. And it succeeded. Okay. This is a example of one of these ads. It says here, every great love story has a beginning, a middle, and no end. Okay. And then it shows down here, a diamond is forever. This is what you call manipulating demand, right? Do people actually need diamonds to survive or to have a good marriage or whatever? No. And since they don't, the diamond company created demand so that there would be a demand for their diamonds and they'd make more money. So when people claim that capitalism is about like companies meeting people's needs, not really. It's also about creating needs out of nowhere and then convincing people that they need those things. Okay? Uh all right. So this marketing campaign that they did was De Beers convinced generations of men and women two things. One, that diamonds are a show of love and that the size and quality of a diamond is proportional to the size and quality of love. Not only that, that courtship and engagement involve a diamond. And folks, by the way, diamond companies would advertise in movies and TV shows. What do you often hear in movies and TV shows? Oh, he got you a ring. Oh, how big is the diamond? Oh my God, that's a massive stone, right? Do you see what I mean? Like, that is a marketing campaign that has become a cultural feature because the diamond companies created it. Yeah, Drusilla, right? Yeah, shaving your legs. Um, okay, so great, right? Great. Um, so De Beers, ultimately De Beers used both artificial scarcity, where they would reduce the supply, and they manufactured demand. Okay, so I'm only using this company as an example. There are tons of others out there that do the exact same thing. Okay, I'm just using De Beers as a very prominent example. Right, we're in a enormous blob. Okay. All right. Now, by the way, folks, I am not saying that if you bought your loved one a diamond or whatever, that means you've fallen for this. It has become a feature. Of our culture that we do this. It does have its origins in De Beers. So I'm not blaming you if you did get diamonds. I'm just saying that's how our system works. And remember what I've said previously, that our culture, when it comes to cultural materialism, our cultural beliefs arise out of our structure and infrastructure, right? So our belief in diamonds being this symbol arised out of our economic system. Okay? All right. Here are some other examples of this real fast. Here on the upper left, you have a dairy farmer destroying thousands of gallons of milk that he produced because to decrease the supply of milk so that he can afford to sell it. Literally just dumping it out, wasting it. Okay. So everyone now exactly, Dolly Boy. Yeah, right. Okay. Cecil Rhodes, Cecil Rhodes, um, is you know, a I'm sorry, what am I talking about? I'm sorry. Okay, dairy farmers. Okay, so if you produce too much of something, it is better for your profit that you reduce what you've created. So if dairy farmers produce too much milk, the price drops too low, and they need to destroy a bunch of perfectly good milk in order to keep the prices high enough for them to survive. How efficient is that nonsense? How many people in the world are starving right now, right? And we're literally dumping out thousands of gallons of milk because the system isn't based off what is efficient or necessary for survival. It's based off profit. Here on the right, you have an image of vegetables that were destroyed. These vegetables were destroyed because there too many of them were produced. And so the prices dropped too low. So they needed to destroy these vegetables to ensure that the prices did not drop too low for the farmers. Wow, what the brilliance and magicalness of capitalism, right? Let's just destroy all the produce rather than giving it to people who need it or handing it out for free. And has anyone here ever worked for a food company that would, at the end of the day, destroy or throw out all of the food they didn't sell? And when it let people, when it would not let others eat the food after it had gone bad or after at the end of the day? Some rarely companies will. Yes, okay. Yes, you did Resident Union Thug. Yeah. So, why do you think that is? There are some companies who will donate it, but like most of them don't, because that would create an artificial. Yeah, Starbucks does it. That creates artificial. I mean, that lowers demand if you hand out stuff because that increases supply, right? So you got to make sure you limit that. All right. Um. Yep. Yeah, totally weird amorphous blob. Okay, so that's okay. Here is an image of a how of a Yep, Dolly Boy. Okay, how efficient is that, folks? Like when we're talking about Sudan. Like massive numbers of people are in famine right now in Sudan, and yet we just throw away all this food because we can't make a profit off of it. Anyway, I know there's like that sort of that ridiculous that what is it called that cliche thing like there's a child starving in Africa, but honestly, well, right now there is, and there's people starving everywhere. Okay. Anyway, we have our own people struggling right now. Okay, too. All right. Here is if it also works with housing. Housing. Here is an apartment complex, I think in LA. I'm not sure where this is. But a lot of times landlords will refuse to rent out a lot of perfectly good apartments or houses because that artificially reduces supply and allows them to charge more for rent. Okay? There's a reason why there are more open, unoccupied houses and apartments in this country than there are homeless people. Okay? Because a lot of those things aren't being rented out. Okay? Anyway. Right, Dolly Boy? Okay. So, all right. Lastly here is an image. Yep, Dolly, yep, Alan, yep. Oh, this is Long Beach, SoCal, fantastic. So you would know SoCal, okay? Okay. Here we got also. This is often used in a fake marketing way. You'll see like people doing advertising. It'll say something like "Hurry, selling out fast. Only a few left in stock." Okay, now that is artificial scarcity. They're not running out of stock. They're just trying to convince you to buy it by making you feel like it's out of stock. Okay. Yep. There's about 16 million available homes, while there's around 800,000 homeless. Easily house them all, but we won't because of artificial scarcity, and because All right. Don't you love it, Portland? Aren't you? Okay, you weren't here, Portland, but yeah, I ranted about it. Don't you love it? Um. Okay. Yeah, Portland. It's terrible. All right. Very inefficient, right? Very inefficient weird amorphous blob. Okay. Let's go to the next thing here. Another critique I have of capitalism, given that I'm officially starting anti-capitalist week now, since Trump started anti-communism week, is the business cycle. I put it in quotes because that's a cute way of saying, you could also call it the depression cycle or the boom bust cycle, but a lot of from what I as a teacher, most textbooks call it the business cycle, which makes it sound like much more official and not so bad. Okay, here we go. So it is a feature of capitalist societies, right, that you have something called the business cycle, where you have an expansion of a growth. Okay, you reach a peak and then suddenly you have a recession. Oftentimes that goes into a depression, and then you slowly recover, and then you expand, peak, and then recession again. It is a feature of capitalism. Okay, it is a very chaotic feature of capitalism that it is literally impossible to escape this. It happens naturally in capitalism that you have boom and bust cycles for a number of reasons. I will talk about some of them, okay? But that is a feature of the system. Yeah, it is a feature of the system. It is not something that and you have to understand there will always be another recession because it's a feature of capitalism, okay? You can't stop it. Now then, there are things you can do to lessen the impact. But okay. Who was it that there was someone who famously said, like, if you had a roommate who was this unpredictable, like maybe, was, like I'm saying this is someone that's hyperactive and who has depression, right? Who is hyperactive one day, depressed the next day, hyperactive another day, depressed the next day, destroys your window one day, and the next day, starts crying. You might not feel comfortable living with that roommate, right? Or you might not really feel safe with someone who out of nowhere starts getting very angry and destroys your life, right? Okay. Why do we allow that with our economic system? Thank you, Mithril. Keynesian economics lessen these things, but it still happens, right? Okay. Here is a map of the last, since 1923. This only goes to 2008, though. You can see this is the business cycle. Okay, that's good. So okay, it's not corny. Here's the business cycle. The blue lines are expansions of the economy. The red lines are contractions / recessions / depressions of the economy. You can see it's up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And who do you think suffers whenever it goes down? It's certainly not the wealthy. They're basically fine. Okay, yeah, they lose some money, but they're still rich. It's the people at the bottom who get unemployed and get thrown out of the market. Yeah. Okay, it is us that suffer because of the people who own the businesses we work at. So their mistakes make us suffer. All right. Very democratic, right? I love suffering because someone at the top is greedy and made mistakes that are making me suffer. Okay. All right. So, going on based off this, right? For those who have joined chat, by the way, if we get 2 more super chats, I will put on the jester collar. I would love to do that at this point. Thank you very much. And if we get to 5, I'll put on the jester makeup. If we get to 7, I will I will put on the jester makeup. Or I'm sorry, 7 we'll do a Q&A. 5 we'll put on the jester makeup. If we get to 10, I'll do a jester after dark stream. And we can also what was I going to say here? Oh yes, you can also use the what is it? The buy me a coffee thing, which is right next to my head right here. You can see it if you'd like to do that. If you're over on Twitch, please subscribe. You can subscribe either by paying or you can subscribe for free using Amazon Prime. Which will help send me some of Jeff Bezos's bucks. Okay. Thank you so much, Dolly Boy. Thank you so much. Okay, that'll count as 1. We need 1 more, and I'll put on the collar. Thank you, Dolly Boy, for the gay flag as well. Way to pander to the audience, Dolly Boy. Okay. Um, okay. Unless, of course, you are LGBTQ, like Dolly Boy. I forget if you are. My apologies. Anyway. Okay. So let us continue, shall we? So why does this happen, right? Uh. Dolly, but I guess you don't. Okay. Uh, okay. I get like me. I guess I'm the audience, right? Dolly. I guess Dolly wait for that. Okay. So why does this happen? As prosperity rises, speculation rises, and greed always wins under capitalism in regards to this so-called business cycle. So every enterprise needs growth. So to ensure growth, companies will increase prices or overproduce goods. Which with oh, I should have said with. Anyway, with more money available and the economy appearing to grow, the wealthy and corporations will make riskier financial decisions that create an illusion of a healthy economy. Okay. And eventually that perception bubble pops and causes a crash that will mainly hurt the working class. Happens every time. Happens every time. The housing bubble, which called the 2008 crisis, a bunch of bubbles that caused the Great Depression. Okay, and then the cycle restarts again. And as we have talked about before, folks, this is a problem because what have I always said is the biggest cause of capitalism, of fascism. What is the biggest problem? What is the biggest cause of fascism? It is economic suffering, right? If you open up the door to economic suffering, people will turn to more radical ends of the political spectrum. They'll be able to be manipulated. They'll be able to be manipulated by people who do scapegoating, right? So economic suffering leads to things like fascism, okay, and war. And although recessions do not always result in radicals taking over the government, okay, every recession is a game of chance, right? It's like a roll of the dice. Every time there's a recession, there's a chance that a fascist could exploit it to gain power, like Trump did after 2008, and in the decades that followed. Okay. And by the way, I say radicals because it also opens the door. If you don't like socialism, it also opens the door for socialists or communists to take over, which I don't mind. But I'm just saying. So another feature of capitalism is it opens the door to socialists taking over. Okay. Anyway, and since the business cycle is inevitable under capitalism, it is basically inevitable that radicals will take over the government at some point because you're going to keep having these recessions and depressions, and eventually someone's going to exploit it to the point where they can take over the government. You see what I mean? All right. So now there are ways to mitigate this. A non-socialist way to mitigate this would be to have a welfare capitalist system like it's done in the Nordic countries, where you sort of mitigate the negative effects of these recessions and depressions and the negative effects of capitalism. Okay, and they which can basically make it harder for radicals to take over, or can, help prevent too much destabilization. But even then, in the Nordic countries right now, we're seeing a rise of the far right. Yeah, absolutely, Demosthenes. It's economic Russian roulette, right? Okay. And yeah, Dolly Boy, look at Greece when they couldn't repay their loans as much as they weren't too radical. Yep, and the what is it called? The Golden Dawn started getting a lot of influence there. Oh, sure, Mithra, I'll gladly do it at some point. Okay. So do we see how this is a problem, right? If you're okay with the recessions and such, just be aware that it always opens the door for political radicalization, etc. Okay, and a lot of the things we're seeing happen today in the U.S. All right. Lastly, so that's another critique of capitalism. This is the last critique I'm going to have for today. So the first critique we've done is artificial scarcity, where companies artificially limit supply or increase demand, artificially create demand in order to sell stuff. By the way, who here has a house? And I'm not criticizing you. I do this, okay? With a bunch of shit in it. A lot of it you bought and then you never really used, or it's just kind of here now. Because you bought it sort of on impulse. Some ad or something convinced you to buy it, and now you have it, though you don't really need it. I do that. It is a problem. I haven't really recently because I can't afford to, but but it's not really your fault. And I say that because you have all these companies trying to create demand for things. Eventually, you're going to fall for something. Okay. Thank you so much, SoCal. Thank you so much, SoCal. Okay. Yep. Dolly Boy, right. You're right, Mithra. Okay. Thank you so much, SoCal, for that donation there. Okay. If we get 100 more, what is it? 100 more bits or yeah, exactly, Alan. Again, I'm not blaming all of this. A lot of times we blame people like, why are you buying this? Well, do you blame people? They're constantly being having propaganda thrown at them, telling them to buy things, right? Because people, all these companies are trying to create demand. I have that issue too. Okay, I'm trying to find. I'm sure there's something in here I have. Yeah. Okay. You see this piece of shit? I'm sorry. I shouldn't be. Thank you, SoCal. Okay, I'll put on. Thank you. We'll do the. I'll do the. You see this dumb little thing I got here? This is just a solar-powered battery, okay, for a phone. I saw it on Amazon. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't ever use it, like, ever. I bought it, and it has, like, a light on it and shit. It's like, when am I ever gonna need a solar-powered battery? It barely even works anyway. It doesn't, like, do much. But I bought it because, I saw it. And for some reason, the marketing convinced me. It's useless. Okay? Like, I just have it here. I've never used it. So my point is anyway, okay. Forgive me. Let me put on my thank you very much. Put it in your bug out bag. That is a true point, Meowsword. I could do that. All right. So here we go. So let's talk now about externalities. Thank you very much, SoCal, for that. Okay, folks, we are now very close. If we get 2 more, either 400 more bits, or I don't know why I did it that way. If we get 2 more super chats, makeup, okay, or 400 more bits. All right. All right. Okay. Continuing. Let's talk about externalities. Now, I suspect. Let's see here. Externalities. Last little critique here. So, an externality. Ooh, that's good, Mithril. That's a good one. Okay. 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 Externality. So, is a side effect or consequence of an industrial or commercial activity that affects other parties without being reflected in the cost of goods or services involved. So, I'm going to explain what this means. Here's an example. Roads. That's true. That is true, Drizzle. That is true. Okay, I just haven't really had a need for it recently. Okay, that's a really good point, Meowsword. Okay, so roads. So let's talk about roads as an extra, or the costs associated. Okay, as an externality. So an externality are things outside of an enterprise that cost money that enterprise doesn't have to pay for. Okay, things that they do that cost money that they don't end up paying for. So let me explain to you. Roads. Enterprises, so a lot of businesses utilize roads, do they not? with motor vehicles. And this harms society in several ways, right? So a lot of enterprises use roads to transport their goods, move stuff around, etc. This adds to road congestion. So that's one externality, because then that slows down people's way. Thank you, Doc. Okay, we're one away, folks. One away from you know what, guys? We got it. We got to it. Thank you, guys. Okay, we will do the makeup now, okay? The makeup. The makeup. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, SoCal. Yeah, you're right. You both did the half, so now we're there. Okay, so I'll do the makeup. Let me. Okay, I'll do the makeup while I'm talking about this. So, um, yeah, I love it, Alan. Okay, so let's continue, shall we? So, for example, these businesses utilizing these roads adds to road congestion, does it not? Yeah, it was perfect, right? It adds to road congestion, which then it puts cost on other people who are trying to get to work on time. It also puts cost on other companies who need those roads also to transport things. But then, of course, they don't pay for it, right? Those businesses that use those roads don't end up paying for the congestion they're causing at all. All right. Then, another example here. So when these companies use our roads, the weight of their vehicles typically damage publicly funded roads. Like literally. Like semis and shit, which are run by public companies, are very heavy and they damage our roads, especially American roads, which are shitty anyway. I should stop cursing. I'm just in a bad mood today. Anyway, are crappy anyway, right? Um, and it does a ton of damage to them. And then who pays for those roads being repaired? Who pays for those roads being repaired generally? Okay, thank you, Demosthenes. Yes, Demosthenes. Golden star for you, Demosthenes. We do. We pay for the destruction they do to our roads with our tax dollars. And boy, do they, and even then, we don't do a good job at repairing the roads because our government sucks. So, yeah, SoCal, okay? If anyone here has lived in a really big city, like you can see the damage that that is done to roads who have a lot of traffic on them, and a lot of that damage is done by these big trucks and entities. That's good, Mithril. That entities that use the roads for a commercial business for their own personal profit. Okay. Anyway, a third thing here is that the emissions from these vehicles that these companies are using are contributing to climate change. Obviously, right? Obviously. And there have been some states who have implemented like programs to reduce that. I think like taxing emissions and stuff. I don't quote me on that. I'd have to look up. Um, I'd have to look up what states they are and such. But generally, they don't have to pay for that shit, right? They don't have to pay for the emissions that they are putting out that are destroying our environment for all of us and killing all of us. Um, Not to mention their factories, which are also some of the biggest polluters when it comes to climate change. Okay. All right, right. Okay. I know, Dolly Boy. Don't even get me started on the libertarians who just want to. I had a professor, by the way, folks. When it comes to libertarians, I had a professor once. He was a professor of ancient Roman history. One of my favorite professors of all time. Really funny guy. And he was talking about how in like ancient Rome there was like basically no police force. It was kind of anarchic in some, not like not a good anarchy. Like it was chaotic in some places because there really was no government like that could really keep things together in most parts of the empire. And he was joke. He's like, it was a libertarian paradise, right? Because bandits could do whatever, people could block roadways and then charge access to them and things like that. Anyway, yep, taxpayers also subsidize big businesses. Okay, it is thought that about 52%, by the way, of motor vehicles are commercial, while the vast majority of road costs are paid for by tax dollars. Okay, so that's good. So we get to pay for all the damage they're doing to our roads. These big companies are for their profit, and we don't get any of that profit. Now, it'd be one thing if we had partial ownership in these companies and we were profiting off of their use of our roads, but we're not. We're not. Anyone shocked about that? All right, I'm gonna put my nose. Okay. Uh, there you go, Doug. Okay. All right. So we pay for the profitable business of these enterprises, and that's an externality. Now, oh, good Lord. It appears that my last couple slides didn't save. That's okay. I'll just talk about it. Okay. That's okay. I did write on these. It must not have just saved. Okay. So another externality, trauma. Trauma and STD. No, you're right in your groove. There is the gas tax, but they don't pay nearly enough compared to the damage they do, if that makes sense. Thank you, Brass Birds. Okay, they don't pay nearly enough compared to the damage they do. And the gas tax is depending on the state is very light. Okay, very very light. Okay. So another externality of companies is trauma and PTSD. Now, this is kind of an extreme example, but it's not an exaggeration at all. A lot of people get traumatized at their workplace. Okay, like even if it's things that don't seem like they'd be traumatizing, they can be traumatizing. So let me give you, gas is super extensive in California because they massively tax gas there. They should tax the companies directly who are just using the roads, but anyway, they punish everyone, of course. Yep, absolutely. So work can cause trauma. If anyone here has ever been like a customer service rep or something, and you have to deal with customers who are seething because they didn't get the deal that was offered on the back on those two Labubus or whatever, okay, you might get yelled at, you might get scared at your workplace. There's the trauma of working in factories and things like that. Yep, screaming customers, right, Braspers? So, or just the fact that the trauma of having to work for multiple hours in a workspace you don't like, feeling completely disempowered. Remember, we did that thing about Alex. So feeling like Alex, who is suffering, and it's causing all sorts of problems for him. And then who pays for the consequences of that trauma happening to those employees? Well, some of it is paid by the company because a lot of companies offer healthcare. That's awful. That is weak. But another one is paid for by the society. Is it not? Is it not? So I'm gonna give you a moment. Second. Wait, what color should I use for my? You know what? I'll do blue. We'll do blue today. Blue sounds good to me. I'll do blue here. A little bit of blue. Yep, Brassbirds, you know it. You know it. Okay. So do we see how that becomes an issue, right? Like, folks, I don't. You don't have to answer this, of course, but who here has some level of trauma from working from their jobs? I know I do. And does that mean that it's like the same level of trauma as like fighting on the front lines in in a combat? No, but there is trauma there. I can tell you, I used to work in a group home there you go, for teens with severe behavioral problems, right? And I got some trauma. Okay, this was a privately owned. This was back when I was like in my 20s, a privately owned enterprise that assisted teens who were having issues. And uh, boy, was it traumatizing. Okay, I had to restrain people who were hurting themselves or other people. I had to. For example, one time I walked into the house, and a pan comes flying across the room, and I just dodge it, and it left a hole in the wall where my head had been because one of the residents had become violent, and then I had to subdue that resident, and he headbutted me in the face, broke my glasses, and gave me a concussion. So, or like I would have to go around there was one resident who punched through a window, and was holding a piece of glass to her own neck. Okay, I could tell you these stories sometime, but that was kind of traumatizing. That was kind of traumatizing. And you know what? Let me add a little more here. And by the way, I was the restraint coordinator, which meant that it was my job to restrain these folks. Anyway, so like my point is that this can cause trauma, right? And then once you leave the company, no longer the trauma they've caused you is no longer their business, right? It's no longer their issue. Um, uh, I can't see the chat right now, folks. I'm sorry. Let me quickly finish this. So that's another example of externalities where a company will traumatize you, your work will be traumatizing, and then you're sent back out into society, and the society has to pay for the trauma. Okay. All right. We'll do last little bit here. I'll do green. Should we do green for the mouth? We'll do green for the mouth. It's because I'm not creative. All right. Yep, Miro. I'm very sorry to hear that, Miro. But you know, that would be traumatizing. Okay. You know it, Demosthenes. I know Demosthenes works in that field as well. Okay. All right. So, okay. Sorry, let me just finish this real fast. We're almost there. I think, oh, this actually doesn't look bad. I'm very proud of myself. I'm very proud of myself, folks. My anger is slightly assuaged by this beautiful makeup, even though it looks like I vomited on myself because of the green. This isn't bad. Okay, folks, I feel calm now. I feel calm. This is good. This is good. This is good. So anyway, so those are externalities, costs that do not. I kept making Sammy while coworker had heart attack, but swore it was just angina. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Macy. How dare you, resident union? Like, it's beautiful. Okay, how dare you? All right, so I need to wash off my hands now. This is why, as Meowsword said, I need to get makeup brushes. Okay, so there we go, folks. Okay, should we hold a revoltathon, and whoever donates the most gets to make CR do one thing that will last a week or two? Ooh, that's a good idea, SoCal. We should do that. I think we should do that. We do a revoltathon. Okay. All right, so I'm finished with the makeup, and because the last slide obviously didn't save for some reason, probably because my internet was crappy. Those are the few things about capitalism I wanted to critique just today. The things I wanted to critique are, again, I repeat them. Put this back on. First is artificial scarcity and artificial demand, right? Second is the quote unquote business cycle, and third is our externalities. Okay, externalities. All right. Okay, guys. So there we go. There's my little anti-capitalist presentation. And again, you can think of socialist ways to fix these things. You can also think of regulatory capitalist ways to fix these things. Okay, I'm not trying to be biased here. How many more for After Dark? If we get, we need 5 more, which would be what would that be? That would be like, yeah, 5 more. And each one would be, so we need 2 more for the Q&A, 5 more for the After Dark. Okay. Heart Hell, oh yes, and then externality. So Heart Hell, I know you just came in here, Heart Hell. I'll just briefly tell you, externalities are well. Go back in the stream and look, Heart Hell, because it'll be confusing if I just tell you without explaining it. Okay, all right. So thank you everyone who has contributed. Again, if we get 2 more, which would be 400 bits, it'd be 600 bits. We need 1,000 bits basically to get to it. Oh my God! Thank you, Malzord. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, okay. Well, we got to the question. We got to the Q&A. Thank you, Malzord. So now we just need 3, folks. Okay. Okay. So let me go put my face back up here. How many pesos? All right. So we can do a quick Q&A here. I do have some things we could watch, but for now, let's just do the Q&A real fast. Okay, thank you so much, Malzord. Drusilla, member for 2 months. Thank you, Drusilla. Okay. All right, you guys. So here we go. Questions for me. Again, folks, as this works here, you can ask me. Oh my God, look at that. Oh my God, I messed up this side. Look at that. Look at that. That's humiliating. That's humiliating. Okay. Brass birds. I really like Scandinavia. Scandinavia style of government there. Definitely much better than our style of government. I don't think it's perfect. I don't think any economics or any economic political system is perfect, but I do like it a lot over there. It's definitely a much better form of capitalism than we have here. And I would definitely prefer to have a system like that than the system we have here. Okay. Uh, good. Excellent. Weird Morphers blob. Okay. Um, so, all right. So I do love Scandinavian Denmark style of government. All right, folks. What else? What else we got here? What questions you got me? You can ask me about history, politics, personal stuff. Uh, I know Weird Amorphous Blob, right? I know. That's a fair point, Meowzord, but if anyone does have anything they do want to ask, you can ask. And we got some new folks here today, too. Uh, anyone want to talk about anything? Okay. Um, let's see here. Any updates from the Senate floor? Any updates from the Senate floor? Let me take a look here. I was a teacher, Brassbirds. I was. Um, from let's see your Senate floor here. Senate floor. Senate advances funding measure with backing of 8 Democrats, moving a step closer. Okay. So, I mean, they have advanced it, but that was, I guess, a while ago. So we just needed to pass the other one. Okay. Thank you, Dolly Boy. Yes, that would be 1, 2. That's enough. So we'll do a jester. We'll do a jester after dark, folks. Uh, okay. So we'll do a jester after dark stream. It's okay. All right. Anyway, sorry. I was okay. Oh, that's amazing. Okay. Well, sorry, folks. I'm missing some questions here. I got distracted. Uh, let's see here. What do we got? Have you ever tried lenses? So Drusilla, yes, you mean contact lenses? Yeah. I have a hell of a time putting contact lenses on my eyes. I don't know why. Like, it never seems to stick. It never seems to like stick to my lens. It never like on my eye. It never like I don't know. My eyes are super dry. I'm not sure. I would love to use contact lenses, but I've never been able to get them to stick. And no optometrists have been able to tell me why. So, or maybe I just can't. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. Thoughts on Scandinavian? Okay. What else we got here? What other questions here? Outer signal. That's a hard question. So outer signal, is there a way to replace it? Uh, yeah. So I mean, in America, at least, because I'm an American, I think a lot about how we can improve America's system. And boy, are there a lot of ways we can improve our system without going all the way to socialism. I know that, ultimately I'd like that, but there's a lot that could be done here. We could even do it within capitalism, if that makes sense. Um, you're right, Meowzord. I would need to get Jackbox there, Meowzord, for us to do that. Uh, Never would you ever get that's cool. A drop of lens fluid on I know, Mithro, it never worked, even when I did that. Do I like horror movies? Yes, Miro. I love horror movies. I think I've talked about this with folks before. I Just they're one of my favorite genres. Even even though most of them are crap, I love it. Uh it took half an hour first time. Now it takes 10 seconds. It's a lot of really, Drizzle. Okay, maybe I should try to get some contact lenses. Right now, though, since I don't have any eye insurance or whatever, I would have to I'll have to wait until I can afford to do that. Thank you, Miro, so much for the super chat. Yes. Free Palestine, by the way, Miro. Free Palestine. I loved Weapons, Miro. Loved Weapons. Great movie. I recommend everyone see it. Creepy movie. Great movie. Favorite fast food restaurants in order. Ooh. Oh, favorite fast food restaurant and order. Exactly, Mithril. Good God, that's a hard one. So okay. I have a bias because I live very near to Uh, without saying where I live very near to the Wendy's corporate headquarters for the world. Okay. And right near that Wendy's corporate headquarters is um, basically an experimental Wendy's where they try on the populace new things that they're trying and things like that. Um, and so I often get to try like cool new things from Wendy's that they're trying out. And a lot of it is automated, so it's kind of like AI run, which I'm not saying I'm actually pro these things. How dare you, Malzord? Wendy's Unit 731. Yeah, and so I love Wendy's. I mainly because I grew up near that, and I got to try a lot of in your groove. How dare you? Okay, yeah, okay. How dare you? They're still great in your groove. Okay, so I do love Wendy's. I'd say they're my favorite. I just like a double, a Wendy's double with lettuce, onions, no tomatoes. I don't like the tomatoes. And I like a frosty. I like myself a good old frosty. I also like my blood pressure being ridiculously high because it makes me feel more alive. Like at any point I could have a heart attack. So I love the thrill of that. Yeah. Yep. They did SoCal, but the one I'm refer I think you know where you probably know SoCal where the corporate headquarters is. Uh, but they have an experimental one right next to it now. Favorite ever video game series, CR? Ooh, oof, good God, that's a hard one. No, it's not that hard of a one. Dark Souls. Dark Souls. Anything Dark Souls related too. So Elden Ring. I love it. Love it to death. I literally like video games, so there's a lot. What is my opinion on Skyline Chili? Awful. I know a lot of Ohioans especially love Skyline chili, but I don't like it. Don't like it. No, thank you. I don't know. It tastes like potpourri to me, like taking a handful of that smelly stuff that your mom used to have out in a bowl, and like I don't know. I just don't like it. Um. Okay. Dark Souls. Yep. Yep, I am totally a masochist, Trump failed. I love the suffering of Dark Souls. I love the thrill of yelling at the screen and throwing my controller. It's something very cathartic about it. What is my least favorite movie? Oh, Weird Amorphous Blob. You know that's hard. That's very hard. There are some very bad movies out there. I suspect so I'll choose a bad movie that a lot of people like. Okay, I'll choose a movie that's popular but that I hate. How about that? So I can piss off more people. Um, You know what? No, I'm gonna cheat. I'm not gonna choose a movie. I'm gonna choose a TV show. Friends. Hate Friends. One of the worst TV shows ever created. I don't care what you all think out there. I hate Friends. Could never stand watching it. Thought it was dumb as hell. Didn't think it was funny at all. The only thing funny about it is that there's a laugh track in the background, in my opinion. If you remove the laugh track, it's not even funny. I just don't like Friends. I thought it was stupid. Sue me. Sue me. Yeah, don't you look at me that way, Drizella. And by the way, I know that there are a lot of folks out there who, for example, are uh for example, who aren't American, who actually learned to speak English by watching Friends. So I don't judge people who watched it for that reason, but it's not yeah, Zeely. Yeah, totally right. It's such a crappy show. Totally. Okay. So, yeah, it's just a waste of time, and I can't. Uh, Forgive me if you like it. Okay. I don't actually think it's like some people like different things. I just think it's trash. Okay. It is garbage, and that's objectively true. Objectively true. Uh, no, I did not, JDH. I've never been that big of a fan of any sitcoms. Uh, What is a big city in America that is underappreciated? I always say Detroit, maybe my bias. Ooh, that's a good question, Alan. A big city that is underappreciated. Hmm. I'd say Buffalo, New York. I like Buffalo, New York, and it's underappreciated. Okay. Am I missing anything? Am I missing any question? No, no, I don't. What? Uh, okay. Have you seen? Fill in the blank. Yeah, okay. Admittedly, man, it's not great, but I have some friends that live there. I guess I'm biased because they showed me around to some of the cool things there. Uh, all right. That's fair, SoCal. That's fair. Have I seen the IT crowd or Fresh Meat? The It crowd or I have not, Druzilla. I have not. I will say there are some British sitcoms that are pretty funny. I just don't watch sitcoms very often. Yeah, me too, SoCal. I never thought Seinfeld was that funny either. I don't get people who are obsessed with Seinfeld. I just didn't think it was that funny. Anyway, okay. What did I miss here? I'm sorry, SoCal. Forgive me. I'm trying to. Um. You know what? I'm sorry, In Your Groove. I forgot that. So I'll answer that in a second, SoCal. In Your Groove asked, "What do I think of sovereign wealth funds like Norway has? Which ways should they be restricted in their investments? Probably they shouldn't invest." Yeah, I totally agree. In Your Groove, like. Yeah. It should be, I think they should invest in things that are sustainable, and not destructive for the people of those countries. So yeah, maybe some more democratic control over those decisions as well, when it comes to sovereign wealth funds. Um, okay, what do we got here? We also got, uh I missed one here. I missed, so where'd SoCal's question go here? Did I miss it over here? Oh, SoCal, here we go. Uh Okay, fill in the blank. Never would I ever never now I know the game Never Have I Ever, SoCal, or is this something that I would just never do? Never would I ever go what is it called? Spelunking or caving cave diving. I would never go cave diving. I would never go cave diving. Okay, I got you, SoCal. Never go cave diving. Forgive me, I don't have a desire to get stuck in a tunnel while underwater, and then suffocate to death while my friends try to pull me out of a crevice. I just don't. It's not a desire I've ever had. Like, okay. Right, Trump failed. Neither would I. So I would never go cave diving. Okay. Yeah, I agree, Meowser. Like, it's just too death adjacent. I also would get immediately claustrophobic if I had to go into any tight space down there. I have caved before. I have caved not in water, and I enjoyed that. But I don't want to cave with water. And even caving without water is kind of like borderline, don't want to do it, depending on the cave. Okay, Weirdomorphous Blob. I disagree, Meowsword. I like carnival rides. I like the thrill of the death, okay? The thrill of possibly dying, okay? All right. Though they are less dangerous. I get it. But they are more dangerous than roller coaster park rides. Carnival rides are more dangerous than roller coaster parks. Um I'm sorry, folks. I've so much chatting here. I'm having trouble seeing all the questions. Um I miss anything? What's the most thrilling thing I've done? Well, okay. I mean, this is nerdy, obviously, but it was really cool when I was in okay, thrilling. Most thrilling thing I've done. This sounds creepy. I'm gonna say it anyway, I don't care. I got the opportunity to go into a coroner's office. Okay, this is really bizarre that I'm even saying this. I got back when I was in college, I took a forensic science class, and one of the things we had to do is we had to go into a coroner's office and actually watch them do autopsies on dead bodies. And that was thrilling. I mean, I don't enjoy dead bodies, but it was kind of, creepy that there were all these dead bodies and shut up, resident union thug. And it was kind of thrilling because it was kind of disturbing. And then like trying to ignore the fact that they're cutting up bodies and trying to keep it professional, which was really weird. So that was kind of thrilling. Though, okay, if I were to talk about like something that was thrilling, that was more like action-y thrilling, like fun, thrilling type stuff. Yeah, it was very interesting to go to this place. Creepy but interesting. Okay, like something action-y kind of thrilling, I guess, would be caving. Because caving was all kind of thrilling when I did it. It was dangerous and thrilling. I don't know, Drusilla. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, so it was kind of thrilling and a creepy way to go into the coroner's office. And then what's funny, folks, is that coroners are known for having dark senses of humor because why wouldn't you if you're dealing with dead bodies all the time? I have not been based up at jumping SoCal, and no thank you. I'm going to confess to all of you, I have a slight issue with heights. I just don't, sorry, don't have an interest. Don't like, I don't want to be too high up. Like, body, human body not meant to fall from high place. Bad for body when that happens. I don't want to be involved. Okay. Anyway, but yes, I don't want to base jump. I don't really have a desire to jump out of a plane. Um, you were able to tell a perp by the way they, um, anyway, uh, I forget what I just lost my train of thought. Oh, yes. So coroners have a dark sense of humor. And this coroner that was in this office, right? She was opening up this lady who had passed away. And she found, first of all, she forgot to give us all face masks so we could smell everything. And then she also forgot to give us the stuff you put over your nose, which was gross. And then, like, halfway through cutting this person open, she's like, "Oh, oops, I forgot to give you this stuff." I think she did it on purpose. But anyway, as she opened up this lady, they found a cyst that the woman probably never knew she had. It was on one of her reproductive organs, let's put it that way, on her internal reproductive organs. There's this big cyst. And this is gross, but I'll tell you anyway. The coroner cuts it open, and let's put it this way: there was a discharge that came out of that cyst that kind of flew across the room, and because there was pressure buildup, and we could all smell it, and it was disgusting. And she looks at us and then starts laughing and says, "Ha ha ha! I didn't even have to do that. I just wanted to see all of your reactions." Which is very classic coroner humor. She thought it was amusing to watch us suffer. She had no reason to cut open that tumor. I mean, that cyst. Okay, anyway, she just wanted to watch us suffer. Anyway, uh, that's fair bit thrill. Yeah, no, it was thrilling because it was like, how dare you in your groove? Okay, okay. Um, okay. So, it was thrilling just to be, I'm just being honest with you, like, when you're around death for the first time, it's kinda, like, scary, and, like, it was kind of a thrilling experience to be around bodies. Okay, this no one clip this. This sounds horrible. I do not like dead bodies. I am not into dead bodies. I am not a fan of death, okay? I'm just, you know what I mean? It was, like, scary. It was, like, scary to be around the bodies, so you have a thrill response to that. I don't wanna do it again. I'm not a fan. I'm not gonna go to some graveyard and start digging up shit, okay? Anyway, okay? Okay. All right, Jeffrey Dahmer, how dare you, Trump failed, okay, he does give off Billy the Puppet, how dare all, okay. Um, Lee, Zealy, right, Brassbirds, okay, yeah, how dare you, Brassbirds, okay. Zealy, I do have a question, though I don't always get to catch your live streams, and if you already answered it, if you could leave the US now, would you, or do you want to stay and fight this? Right now, Zealy, I want to stay and fight this. But I mean, if it becomes desperate, I will leave, but I also feel like I should stay because I know a lot about fascism and I don't want to abandon the people I love here. So yes, I feel like I need to stay at this point. Absolutely, Zealy, good question. Okay, thank you, Resident Evil. It got the adrenaline pumping. Okay, God, I should have used a different story. I should have lied to all of you and been like, "Oh, the most thrilling thing I've ever done was, I don't know, there was a dog that bit me or some crap. I don't know." Okay, have I seen the movie? Ooh-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Thank you, Brassbirds. Thank you very much, Bob. Okay, uh, if not, I have a shed. Thank you, Drizilla. Okay, guys. Worst Thanksgiving side dish, cranberry sauce. I hate cranberry sauce. Don't like it. Don't like it. Don't like cranberry sauce. Okay. All right, guys. So, I know there's a lot of other stuff I could have done today. Best historic assassination or attempt? Mm, there was a queen of Korea who there was a queen of Korea who Mithril. Why? Because I don't like cranberry sauce, Mithril. Okay. There was a queen of Korea who the Japanese tried to assassinate. I can't remember which one it was. And they sent in ninjas after her, and she had a blade concealed in her hair, and she ended up killing, I think, a few of them before they finally assassinated her. But I just always thought that was a badass story, like kind of like a scene from a cool movie. Like she pulls out this blade from her hair and kills several of these ninjas before they finally get to her. So I would say that I can't remember her name though, Meowsword. Right? So, um, right. Okay. All right. Oh, totally, Meows. The Assassin's Teapot is very cool. Okay. All right, you guys. So what we'll do is that tonight I'll do a Jester After Dark stream. Thank you for letting me rant at all of you today. I needed that. I needed to complain about capitalism, and I needed to Mithril. You know, Mithril. There's just no accounting for taste. Some people just have bad taste, and I guess you're one of them, Mithril. Because cranberry sauce is just, ugh, in my opinion, Mithril. Anyway. I love you, Mithril. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Weirdomorphous Blob. Okay. So tonight we'll do a Jester After Dark stream. Um, are you implying that this is boring, Meowsword? How dare you? Okay. Yeah, how dare you imply that this is boring? Okay, I know it probably is for you, Meowsword. You seem to express disdain with the questions. Okay. All right. Okay. So what we're gonna do is, folks, we'll do a late night Jester After Dark. We'll do a Jester After Dark stream tonight. It'll between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. is when we'll start it. In the meantime, I believe, how long have I been on for now? We've been on for, I can't tell. I can never figure out how long I've been on for. I can never see. Oh, I see. Okay, that makes sense. I think that's about right. Has it been 3 hours? That's about 3 hours, right? Am I wrong here? Yeah, it's about 3 hours. Right? Okay. Forgive me. I'm just trying to see. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get off now. Thank you, everyone. We have so much more we could have talked about. I'll save it for tomorrow. I have a bunch of clips and shit to show you from various things happening in the government, etc. All right. You all know what I'm about to say, don't you? Okay, fair, Meowsword. Okay. You all know what to say. Brass Birds, great to see you here. Please continue to join this live streams. Love it. Let's do it, folks. You all know what I'm about to say. First of all, free Palestine. Free Palestine. Second of all, never stop resisting. The easiest way to resist is to think for yourselves. The easiest way to resist is to think for yourselves, and that includes when you watch me. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. See what other people are saying. Don't get caught in an information silo, because the easiest way to resist is to think for yourselves. Thirdly, we're living in a fascist moment in this country, not only in this country, but in other countries around the world. Fascism thrives in an environment where people have lost faith in their democratic institutions, so they turn to more radical ends of the political spectrum. If you want to combat fascism, we need major reforms in this country. You cannot stand in the center. If you stand in the center, the fascists will walk all over you, and you don't want them to. Do not let the fascists walk all over you. We need to resist. Do not be a slug. Fight back. We need major reforms in this country. On a side note here, folks, I know I'm not done doing this. I just pasted our Discord server in the chat. Please join our Discord. We only need 3 more people, or 2 or 3 more people to have 150 followers or community members. So please join if you haven't already. You can put things there for me to react to, etc. Lastly, on the wall behind me is a sword. The name of that sword is Chainbreaker. Chainbreaker is thought to have been responsible for the death of 7 slave owners. Why do I have it back there? I have it back there to remind everyone that our ancestors made some major sacrifices for some of the things we have today, including putting their lives on the line for some of the gains we have. We cannot let that their sacrifice go to waste, folks. Please, please, please do not let their sacrifice go to waste. And always, always, always fight for a better future. And on that note, folks, I'll be back on tonight between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. for a Jester After Dark. Okay. Enjoy your night, evening, whatever you may be in the world. Also, I posted a new video to YouTube last night. Feel free to watch it if you'd like. Love you all very much. Have a good rest of your day, whatever it may be. Bye-bye.